Welcome, everyone, to this Clubhouse event. Your energy, health, be responsible with empowering solutions. The sun, its powerful benefits. I would like to start by raising the vibration of the space that we're in now by calling for the highest possible vibration and calling forth the truth to come forward into our discussion today so that we may see the truth in all that we see, so that we may hear the truth in all that we hear, so that we may speak the truth in all that we say. And shall we be in that frequency of truth? Shall we have nothing but the truth? Shall we call for the power divine feminine, bring balance back into our world, showing us the way through honor, respect, and gratitude? Shall we call for the power divine feminine, bring balance back into our world, showing us the way through honor, respect, and gratitude? Shall we call for the power divine feminine to bring balance back into our world, showing us the way through honor, respect, and gratitude? Shall we call for the highest possible vibration, calling for the highest possible vibration, calling for the highest possible vibration? I now ask for everyone to take a sip of water and ask for the water to hydrate our brains and bodies. Water is the medium that holds memory and will assist in the flow of information that we share here together here on Clubhouse. Now take a deep breath in, bringing in peace, and release and exhale, letting everything else out. Take another deep breath in, bringing in joy and gratitude, and exhale out. Another deep breath in, bringing in life into our bodies, and exhale out all and releasing all that does not serve us. And the Kitchen Veritas, everyone, I call for the oneness and truth of the information shared by each and every one of us here on this call, calling in that frequency of truth and all that is truth with honor, respect, and gratitude to you all. And for those who are unfamiliar with the term, the greeting en Lakesh is the Mayan greeting for oneness signifying unity, where everything and everyone is interconnected. It is the idea of a community where we can share with one another ideas, goals, and aspirations. And veritas, the Latin word for truth, to see the truth in all things. So Enlication Veritas is that declaration of oneness and truth in which we are clearing our spaces, the space we're in now, so that we may be able to bring forth a truthful, elevated, enlightened discussion this evening, clearing away those ill thoughts that we tend to pick up and carry with us from our everyday life experiences. Let's let that go. And remember, our words have power. So it's important that we use our words carefully, using words of upliftment, encouragement, and enlightenment. And by doing so as a collective will help us to transform our spaces and places into higher frequencies that will result in better experiences in our lives and assist in raising the vibration of those who are around us that we meet and interact with. So, in La Kitchen Veritas, everyone, with honor, respect, and gratitude, I would like for everyone to again hold your water in your hands and with intention in mind, send the frequency of Enlakesh to your water. And then take a sip of your water, thereby assisting through signaling and incorporating the elevated frequency of Enlakesh into the cells of our bodies. And using this technique will assist the ease and flow of the information we share this evening. So, welcome everyone to this Clubhouse session event. So there have been several news reports that Congress is open to researching solar modification, and then simply put, sun blocking. They're reporting that it will help to reduce the devastating impact of global warming and climate change. So there is a difference in the definition between these two, where global warming refers to the rising in global temperatures due mainly to the increasing concentration of greenhouse gases in our atmosphere. Okay, get that, greenhouse gases in our atmosphere. And climate change refers to the increasing change in the measures of climate over a long period of time, including precipitation, temperature, and wind patterns. So the sun blocking technologies, also known as solar radiation modification, could theoretically cool down the earth by reflecting the sunlight back into space. The implication is that the Earth's atmosphere is getting too hot or too toxic. And these toxins, where did they come from? Created by man. So the climate change is what researchers are attributing to many natural disasters occurring: the floods, drought, forest fires, tsunamis and earthquakes, tropical storms, that includes the hurricanes and tornadoes. But another theory regarding climate change is the shifting of the Earth's magnetic poles. So bottom line is that when we're talking about the sun, the manipulation of our sunlight will have a devastating effect to the health of man, animal, and plants and plant life on our planet Earth. Does anyone have any comments? Depending on how much light a plant needs, it's typical that plants need light to survive, but they can survive without light ranging from anywhere from 4 to 20 days. With low light plants that need low levels of light, living or surviving between 12 and 20 days, and those that are light loving surviving between 4 and 10 days. And then the chlorophyll in the plant, which gives the plant its green color, and it's very important in the plant, and it converts plant food from the sun into energy under the sunlight. And chlorophyll is the equivalent of hemoglobin in man, which is essential to life. So without sunlight, plants will suffer from chlorosis, where the plant will start turning yellow and then die without the light. So there's numerous studies that confirm the need for sunlight for health reasons. For instance, citing that the production of vitamin D triggered by sun exposure, we get vitamin D from our source of food, but food alone is not enough to give us our source of vitamin D. Any comments?
In Lakesh Veritas with honor, respect, and gratitude.
And Lakesh and Veritas, Stacy, with honor, respect, and gratitude.
So
Thank you.
I'm so glad I was because I knew that this topic and more so the health aspect of it was coming because I was going to cite about I think about the depression and how
Hmm.
loneliness has become an epidemic in itself. And with this, it would just add to it. And then the fact that our foods are not getting the nutrients and providing what we actually need, it's just is catastrophic to human existence and our health and our wealth. And it's all a part of what the plan is that is in place.
Hmm.
Thinking about
Hmm.
how all these lab grown meats and different foods and products are coming about because we see that they are trying to take away the natural process of growing food, and then they're going to give us this excuse of, well, there's no sunlight to grow the food, so here you have to have this that we have
Yeah,
created, when nature is providing exactly what we need, how we need it, when we need it. But
right,
again, these man-made solutions to man-made problems, and they're trying to be the savior when it's like, no, you are the problem. That needs to be
right,
what's resolved. So
right.
thank you for
And
bringing this forward.
yeah, absolutely, because they're the cause. I mean, man is the cause of the issues that are existing today. And they keep manipulating, trying to clear the problem, instead of allowing Earth to take care of itself.
Exactly, because
You know,
Earth has been here for how long, and man has been trying to create
exactly.
these solutions, and we see the failures just keep continuing. So that's our ego, and yeah, that's a whole nother crazy
Right,
spiral to go down.
right, exactly, exactly. Sunlight is just such an uplifting energy. It's powerful. There and what gets me is that there's plenty of NIH studies that show the benefit of sunlight. It improves the quality of sleep, increases serotonin levels, that thereby reducing depression, as you talked about. It increases dopamine levels for affective seasonal affective disorder, and even Parkinson's. It all there. It's shown studies that sunlight reduces pain, reduces diabetes and insulin resistance and obesity.
And
I mean, you know how many things?
right.
Go
And
ahead.
may I add, so it's two thoughts that come to mind because I think about how this whole campaign to make the sun the villain in a sense has started with the sunscreen. Like you have to have sunscreen because the sun is bad
Yeah.
for your skin, and you have to wear sunglasses because the sun will damage your eyes. And the narrative has already been put in place. But thinking about I always think of babies with jaundice, and even for adults with jaundice, but babies especially, one of the easiest ways to help assist the baby work that bilirubin through their system is by placing them in a window or in sunlight to let
Hmm.
their body naturally flush it out their system. So
Right.
this
And
is
what they
another.
did was, in my day, they put him in billy lights. This is artificial light instead of putting him out in the sun.
Yes.
And they prevented you from taking the child home if the bilirubin level, the bilirubin levels were too
Yes,
high.
I've experienced that with my oldest, with having her in the light, staying there overnight, even being discouraged to breastfeed and nurse her because, being told formula will help push it through her system more. So, not being as knowledgeable then, I,
Yeah.
I, you know, went with that because it was like my baby. Oh my goodness, the fear was instilled. But then my next children, my next two, I knew better, so I did better, and I placed them
Hmm.
even before there was any concern. We were in the sunlight, we were nursing nonstop, and we never had to go back to the hospital. We didn't have the same concerns, but again, when it's being pushed to mothers that are just hormonally just going through and dealing with a lot and finding balance again, you're told that something's wrong with your baby. We go into this fight or flight mode, and then we're not thinking and not activating the right parts of our brain to really think through all the solutions. So yeah, the sun is providing everything we need, absolutely. And if we lose that, mm,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. It's just a lack of education on the allopathic doctor's part, which is unfortunate. Because they're doing what they're told and not even acknowledging and experiencing the the wisdom that other people have to offer, such as you're a doula. So then the wisdom that you have to offer someone like yourself or someone who does more natural therapies, alternative therapies, the history behind it, and I've stated it before, is when John D. Rockefeller um, contributed monies to the medical system, medical schools, with the stipulation to remove all other type of alternative healthcare except for allopathic medicine. And that's where it all started. And when they did that, and then they basically condemn all the other forms of alternative care and just promoted this, then that lack of knowledge was no longer instilled in the students, the people that went to that had medical training, underwent medical training through the allopathic world. They reduced the number of medical schools, from there, all types of medical education and so forth. And as a result, doctors really are at a disadvantage because they don't know all the other alternatives that are available for people that are healthier and safer with more positive outcomes. So I can keep going what the sun does. The sun um, reduces diabetes, insulin resistance. It supports bone health and reduces osteoporosis, eye health. It also helps prevent autoimmune diseases. And diabetes is a form of autoimmune disease, but also multiple sclerosis. And there's been a report of higher rates of multiple sclerosis in people that live further away from the equator. And then there's also a study that shows that solar sunlight reduces all cause mortality and cardiovascular diseases. It's a Swedish study where 40,000 women showed a decrease in mortality compared to those who, when they were exposed to sunlight, compared to those who were exposed to artificial light. And they showed an increase in cancer mortality. So for man and even animals, morning sun is critical for the circadian signaling, the circadian rhythm, brain function, the oxygenation of the blood. And midday sun is critical for the synthesis of the vitamin D, the conversion of vitamin D and cholesterol, as well as producing the production of sex hormones. And there's also this many studies that suggest that chronic sun exposure is associated with a decrease in the risk of cancers, colorectal cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So I just say we've got to give gratitude to the sun. The sun is a powerful source of our energy, bringing light to many different planets in our galaxy. It's rejuvenating. You think about people going on vacation. When they go on vacation, they're hoping for many, many sunny days, getting rest, participating in joyful activities. They think of receiving those sun-filled rays. So I pledge, to everyone, the next time you go out in the sun, give reverence to the sun, acknowledge and connect with its strength, and ask for it to bless you with its healing powers. Anybody have any comments? Nothing more? Well, this is going to be a short one. I wanted to, delve into the sun and the benefits of the sun and the natural resources.
In Lakesh Veritas, with honor, respect, and gratitude, this is
Oh my
Tiffany.
goodness, that's well, not expecting gratitude, Tiffany. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I've actually been in the sun all day, and so I'm extra buoyant. Um,
Yep.
uh, it's so interesting. I lived by the beach for a long time, actually in California, but in Florida, and the feel of the sun is very different in both locations. But
Mm,
one thing that was identical was no one was ever in a bad mood. Like
mm,
it's just, and it's also the benefit of the cleansing of the salt, water as well. But no one was ever. Everyone was just buoyant and happy, no matter what level, whether they were living in their cars or pushing a grocery cart or living in the $5 million mansion on the beach. Like everyone had a level of buoyancy always, and
mhm, mhm.
it's just really cool to see and experience and be a part of. And thank you for bringing this forward because I. I have been thanking the sun all day, and I will be thanking it more and more
Yeah, giving
as it
reverence
sets
to it.
today. Absolutely. And,
And
also what it does for us, but then what it does for all of the food. I mean, we have these sunflowers that are 3 times the size of Jade's head that were just I mean, truly, they were glorious, and then the moment they, started to droop and the petals started to fall, then we had this whole new experience of a sunflower that looks like a sun, so we cut off the head, and then we picked off every single individual little seed today, and now we're gonna roast some sunflowers and save some seeds to plant more, and it was
oh
just
wow, that is so cool.
it was
That is so
really
cool.
cool. And the level, this was something I've been noticing all day today, whether it was the sunflowers or in the echinacea or the pattern that the bees are flying, all of it, sacred geometry and the
Hmm.
spiral. Jade and I kept talking about the spirals in our head and the spirals in our ear, and then the flowers on the sunflower. Then we picked the flowers off and the seeds were still in a spiral. Then we picked the seeds off and the hairs behind the seeds that held the seeds in were still in it was
Hmm.
just sheer magic. It was so lovely. Thank
Right,
you for
there's
all of this.
purpose and purpose for life.
Right, absolutely.
And gratitude. Thank you for sharing that. It's just so important with sunlight, and just giving reverence. And we've got to basically then acknowledge what we have. And it was what a couple of weeks ago there was someone who lifted a balloon, and it was in California, and apparently they let it go. I think it came from Mexico to California, and they wanted to release it. It was a form of blocking the sun, probably some experimental testing that was not actually approved. So they've been thinking about it, working on it, and the thing is that the sun, you're absolutely right. It affects our mood, and we have to fight for it. And it basically it'll help to support our sovereignty and not be dependent on someone else providing us with the tools when the earth is providing it for us. Any other comments?
In the Catch Veritas with honor, respect, and gratitude again.
Yes, and Lakesh Veritas. Honor, respect, and gratitude.
So, with that, the idea of self sovereignty, it made me think about how a lot of us are switching to solar energy and
Hmm.
how this would be detrimental to that because everybody has a reliance on electricity and all these different conveniences and just our way of living. And so, it makes me think about like how that's going to create even more of a disconnect for many people because we've lost the skills to survive in the
Yes.
simplest ways. So this is going to, not only are we not going to have access to the food to cook it, but we're not going to know how to cook it, and we're not going to know how to just go about our daily lives. So in addition to our moods are going to be the moods are going to be diminished, and then all these other compounded things. It's just like this is a recipe for either we really step up and we show that reverence and we step into gratitude and we fight for truly our existence in this instance, or we know the other path that is available. So
Right.
just thinking
Right.
through all the different components that will be impactful, everything will be impacted, everything. And I think a lot of times it's just not considered the magnitude that our lives would just be upheaved. So
Right. Right. I agree. I absolutely agree. I don't know if anybody's been visited England, London, England, but they call it's like dreary sometimes. They don't have a lot of sun over there. It's interesting. I just thought about that. It rains a lot, and not that rain is beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but and the rain and the sun does shine through the clouds, but it's kind of like people think of vacation. They think of what, like Tiffany was saying, going to California and the sun surfing and having a good time, you know. Tiffany, were you about to say something?
I was about to say, like over the years, the sun has gotten such a bad rap, just like everything else, right? And so now we're like, um, you know, put on something to block the sun, wear a long sleeve shirt to block the sun, put sunscreen on to block, like if you don't do this, then you'll get this. And I think
Hmm.
that shifting that paradigm, to gratitude and reverence, um, and asking for the appropriate levels of melanation, like we've been taught to do, from
Right. Exactly.
it just
And that's
goes.
what I was there. That's what I thought about. And, we've been talking about, they, it was basically a certain sect of people why they were saying, oh, put the sunscreen on and so forth. But that doesn't apply for everyone. A lot of us need the sun, and you're absolutely
Absolutely.
right. Calling
when,
for the melanation.
when you said balloons, it's so funny, it just shows where my mind was today. It had nothing to do with blocking the sun. It had to do with the fact that I just saw the other day that someone put had a balloon like that wasn't blown up yet, and they shoved a flower in it, then they filled it up with water like a water balloon, then they tied it and they put it in the freezer, and then after it was frozen they cut the balloon off and it became this gorgeous water ice bubble with a flower in it that then they used at like a picnic to keep all the drinks cool.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that the coolest ever? And so when you said balloon, I was like, oh my gosh, now I need to do that balloon. But then, it was different. But it was just so beautiful.
Mhm. Oh, wow. Wow. There's so many things you can do that's uplifting. Yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing
You're
that.
welcome.
When I think of the sun too, when I travel, I like traveling. I like driving in the sunlight. Most people do. You can see. for one, but I find the sun energizes me while I'm driving, as opposed to at night without the sun. So there's so many benefits. And I acknowledge the sun and the sunlight helping, call on the sun to ask to assist in clearing your spaces. The energy, it provides you the energy to clear your space. It's just wonderful. Any more comments? Thank you, everyone. So I would like to remind everyone of our weekly host responsibility sessions, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's hosted through Zoom. Our next one is tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Hope you join us. And then we also have an extended 45-minute session on Wednesday mornings at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the same link can be accessed by you can utilize the same link in order to access each of these sessions. The communing with the power of a Ho'oponopono. And our next Divine Nation workshop is the schedule of this coming Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, hosted by Diane Annis of Enlakish Studio One. Working with the Call for the Truth Divination cards, the companion to the Call for Truth publication. If you have some questions, come and join and get some answers. And then we've got the Abundance and Prosperity group call that's hosted by Of the Sun, meeting daily, 2:45 and 8:45 p.m., only 5 minutes. And there's the power of numbers and raising the energy. Stephanie, did you have something to say?
Yes, in the Cash and Veritas with honor, respect, and gratitude, everyone. I
I'm a
just
kisser.
wanted to give, in the Cash and Veritas, I just wanted to give a shout out to Serenia, aka Rennie Wren, for her trip around the sun today.
Hmm. Oh, you mean like she's going where she is now? She's
No, today is her
oh,
born day.
oh yeah, that's true. Yes. Oh, thank you for reminding me of that. Happy birthday. This is like, yep, yep. This is a definite special day for you, Serenia. Enjoy it with your offspring. I call them your offspring because they are your offspring. Have fun. Yes, definitely. And
Jade has a special message for Serenia.
oh, okay, go ahead.
Happy birthday, Serenia!
Yeah, I'm sure she can hear. She's probably in a place where she can't speak right now, but
That's understandable. Jade's learning how to play. She learned how to play Happy Birthday on the guitar. She's very
oh,
good at it. She's in the middle of cleaning her Jeep right now, so her hands are sticky. Um,
okay,
but
okay,
maybe another time, Serenia, Jade can play it for you.
okay. That's wonderful, wonderful. So, everyone, thank you. Any other comments, birthdays, acknowledgments? Thank you, everyone, for joining and participating in this discussion. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Remember, knowledge is power, and taking action from this knowledge is true power. With honor, respect, and gratitude, and Lakesh and Veritas.
In the Cash and Veritas,
And
honor,
look at
respect, and gratitude.
Veritas with honor, respect, and gratitude.